How much of an impact can something have if no one is around to see it? That maybe sounds a little bit like that old philosophical dilemma about the tree falling in the woods, but it's an important question for us to consider in a world where so much of what we do is so often put on display for so many people to see. Can something really have an impact if no one is around to see it? Can something make a difference that is vital if it doesn't first go viral? I want to answer that question today by telling you a little bit about a man named Timothy. Timothy was a young pastor that the Apostle Paul sort of took under his wing from a very young age and ended up being Paul's right-hand man. Paul would use Timothy to deliver messages from Paul to Christian churches. Timothy would bring back reports from those churches to Paul. Timothy ended up being a pastor of a very important church in the city of Ephesus. And in fact, 2 books of the Bible and probably countless churches are named after this man, Timothy. But really, I tell you about Timothy only so that I can tell you about his mother and his grandmother. Their names are mentioned just once in the Bible, Lois and Eunice. But we know from what Scripture says that what Lois and Eunice did for Timothy had a very big impact on him. From a very early age, they would read stories from the Bible to Timothy and teach him its lessons. In other words, what Lois and Eunice did that had such a big impact on Timothy and therefore impacted thousands of other people was done when no one was around to see, when no one was watching. And I think there's probably an explanation for that. You see, when we do something that no one is around to see, there's a word that we can use to describe it, and it's the very word that the Bible uses to describe the faith of Eunice and Lois. It's the word sincere. In other words, the opposite of hypocritical. You probably know that Christians sometimes come under attack for being hypocritical, for saying one thing but then doing another. But the reality is, of course, that it's not just our sin that can make us hypocritical, it's our goodness that can make us hypocritical as well. If the only reason we act a certain way is when other people are around to see. You see, the beauty of doing something when no one else is watching is that by definition, it is sincere. If we don't just wake up on Sunday mornings and get the kids all dressed up and parade them off to church, but during the week, every single day, we're in the Word and in prayer. If we spend quality time with our kids, quality time in the Word, and we maybe deliberately choose not to post it on social media, they're going to get a very important message. They're going to see very clearly that is sincere. That's not just about our image. That's not just for other people to see, that truly and really matters to us. The Apostle Paul would later write to Timothy about the impact of the sincere faith of his mom and his grandma. He wrote, "As for you, continue in what you have learned and have become convinced of, because you know those from whom you learned it, and how from infancy you have known the Holy Scriptures, which are able to make you wise for salvation through faith in Christ Jesus." See, the beautiful thing about not just being sincere, but being sincere specifically about our faith, is that those who see it, even if it's just a very small number, will not only see what matters most to us, they'll be seeing the thing that flat out matters most.
Did you enjoy this video? If so, we would love to share even more Jesus with you, even if you have a busy, on-the-go kind of life. Just click here, and you can find the audio version for this podcast, along with all the other podcasts that Time of Grace offers.